Hey everybody, how you doing? It's Jaquetta here. Hey, we are getting ready to get our minds prepared for an all new season of the Braxton. And far more than just a television show and people you see on television. Trina Braxton has quickly become one of my dearest friends. I like to also liken her to being like family to me. Hey Tree.
Hey, love. And of course, you know the feeling is mutual. You are my sister from another mister. I love you to pieces. And
I
before we
love
even
you
get
too.
started, I'd just like to thank you for being that person who always encourages me through every course and sector of my life. But we'll get into that later. But I just want to
Yes.
start by saying thank you for always being
You're
that
so
person.
You're welcome. So since we've started with that, why don't you tell me why? Why is that important for you to say and let people know?
Because I think as we get a little older, those true friendships start to dwindle away. And I think the reason for that is your eyes become open the more uh, uh, you allow yourself to. Because
Hmm.
sometimes we're just so used to absolving everyone's behavior. We put the scales over our eyes just because of who we want them to be in our lives. But who you
Hmm.
want someone to be and who they actually are two different things. So at this point in my life, I come to value those people who I see as true friendships and not just seasonal.
You so much for saying that. I appreciate it. Because much like you, the older I have gotten, the more I realize that just because call somebody friend, and maybe I also realized too, the level and the depths of friendships that I needed when I was younger has drastically shifted in my 50s and now, and kind of really seeing the world, no blinders on, really seeing people, no blinders on, really seeing family, no blinders on. Not what I want to imagine them to be, but who they actually are. And I
Mhm.
found that the more you heal, the more vision you have, and the more goodbyes that you have to, or barriers or boundaries that you really have to ensure to make sure that your own mental capacity is safe. Would you agree?
Absolutely. I agree wholeheartedly. Wholeheartedly.
Let's talk about your hair first of all. We're going to do something so silly and little because I know that you did the sister locks, right? And I remember
Yes.
first seeing you with them when we were headed to Wanda's bachelorette gathering. So, what made you want to do the sister locks, and how do you feel about them now?
Well, I am not really great at maintaining my own hair. I never have been.
Hmm.
And I've always worn it natural. Like I hadn't had a relaxer in over, what, 15, 20 years. And so since I was already doing it, and something, this just for Trina's experience, it just seems like without going to the salon, every 2 weeks, whatever happens, my point of demarcation was just really bad. It was just always snapping off. Like on a quiet night, I look at my pillow, my hair's on there. I said, I have to do better.
Yeah.
And a girlfriend of mine, you might know her. I'm going to drop her name just because she started me on this journey. Her name is Demetra McKinney.
Oh yes,
And
Demetri. Yeah.
yes, she has sister locks. And when I saw her, I was like, yes, this I can do this. I can maintain this. And when you get a hairstyle or go into a hair journey like getting sister locks, you have to dedicate yourself to it.
Yeah.
It is truly a journey. It has different phases, like any relationship that you ever had in your life.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I had to learn
Yeah.
to, in embracing my hairstyle, I started embracing myself and being okay with who I truly am. And I think India Irie said it best when she said, I am not my hair. That is just one facet of who I am. And it's just, and after I stopped allowing other people to try to make choices for me when it came to my body and my life, I have
Hmm.
become more and more okay with my journey.
That's good. And it's so funny because I sent you my friend Renee Seiler, who also used to do television news for the CBS affiliate, and CBS the network. And I was showing you how her sister lock started and where they are now. So I was hoping to, give you inspiration to keep moving and keep going in regards to your sister locks. And finally, I will also say I thought it was such a sweet question when you asked me, how do you not get and I'm paraphrasing, but what's the word? How did you ask it? Basically, how do you not get worried or have issues with people asking you about your hair, meaning you were asking me about mine?
Mhm.
Because my hair's been natural ever since 2007 when I lost my hair to cancer and then it grew back. And I was just like, I don't care what other people think, not anybody, about what I'm doing. And if you don't like it, then don't you do this. But for me, for so long, much like you, I had an image of what I was supposed to look like on television, particularly being, doing television news for so long, and we had to have a certain kind of image. And then after you encounter something that makes you fight for your life, hair and hair quality and style becomes this big. And so, and I like my hair. I like my natural hair. I like that it's so much
And it's
more.
lovely. And the color is amazing.
Thank you. It's a gel, so I love playing around with that too. Okay, so let's switch and talk about the Braxtons because
Mhm.
it's a new season that's
Yes.
happening. And how do you feel about the new season?
Ooh, right now, that's actually a double entendre. It's a new
Ah,
season for the television show, and it's a new season for us as sisters.
mm-hmm,
We have encountered and are encountering something in a space where we've never ever been before. And with this new terrain that we seem to be traveling through, um, that big B word just keeps coming up: boundaries. And sometimes they hurt. But in order for a person to grow individually and collectively, you need to set those boundaries because you can't have the same boundaries you had when you were a child
mm-hmm,
at 50.
absolutely.
Something has to change.
So how does it feel with the new boundary and the new terrain that you mentioned that you're on? Is it comfortable? Is it uncomfortable? Is it an adjustment?
First, eat all the above, but more than anything, it's discomfort because
Mm-hmm,
we are so used to being such a large presence in each other's lives. And this is not about a man or a woman or an outside relationship. It has everything to do with our relationship and what boundaries are we willing to set and where we want to place things as far as importance in our lives. It doesn't mean that you are unimportant, but just like our parents had their own family, we have to be able to receive each other in a space where we have our own family. It doesn't mean that we're not the same part of our parents' families, but we've gathered our own traditions. We've gathered the things that we want to teach and instill in our own children based on the things that we've seen or didn't see while we were growing up. But because it's not going to be in line with what you feel like we will continue to do and walk out into our own space, you can't be upset about that. Because
mm-hmm,
I don't need your permission.
mm-hmm,
I don't even need you to like it. I just need you to respect it.
mm-hmm. One
And I
thing I
think
noticed,
respect is the big word that no one uses when it comes to boundaries. Respect someone else's boundaries.
right. And I noticed the promo that has been, well, one of several, and one of them is specifically a scene with Tony, you, Tawanda, and Tamar, and you can clearly see that things got heated to the point where Tamar appears to be throwing or smashing a glass that spews water in your direction and Tawanda's. And I know that family dynamics and people can get heated, but what does that say about the ages that you are now, still physically, and a family member still wanting to display that kind of anger physically and not being able to use their words, or something is wrong when you're this age and you still want to behave in that way, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
And see, and this is one of those difficult questions because people release hurt, anger. You don't know what other kind of discord is happening in their lives. And sometimes, and I'm not saying to speak ill of my sister, my baby sister, but that's part of the problem. I just said she's my baby sister. She's my youngest.
She's a
She's my
grown
youngest
she's a
sister.
grown woman.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's part of the problem. For
Hmm.
so long, she's been the baby, and now she just needs to be the youngest. And so when you are used to being able to exhibit certain behaviors and they have gone um, absolved, people absolve behaviors. I'm just going to put it that way. And so when you're used to it happening, like if it's a kid, if they're used to kicking and screaming in the middle of the hall and their mom say, okay, you want a chocolate bar? They're never going to stop. You know what? You're not going to get a chocolate bar. You're going to have accountability for your behavior, especially at your age. You put your big boy panties on. Not big boy panties, but you understand what I mean. Big boy pants on. And you have to exhibit a behavior that matches who you say you want to be. Pick one.
Have you had to do no contact with some members from your family? Or
at
low
times,
contact?
At times. I can't allow your feelings to supersede mine. And as adults, we're always going to, come back together. But sometimes things take time. Words are like weapons. They wound sometimes. And sometimes it takes a while for that wound to heal. It doesn't mean it's not going to heal, but right now it's still in the healing stage. So in that phase, you got to let it grow. You got to let it grow. You got to let it grow. Because if you don't stop it, put it at a head, create those boundaries, you're going to have an open wound that just never heals. Because there's nothing to mend. Where is it? Where's the Band-Aid? Where's the peroxide? Let it heal. Let it heal. You can't just sweep it under the rug. That's part of the problem. Everything's just been so swept under the rug. Address it with the right people. I don't need to go and talk to somebody about somebody else. No, I can't address it with the wrong person. We can only heal if I address it with you, because you're the one that hurt me. You're the one that I have to explain. You know what? It hurt my feelings when.
You also have to have somebody too, though, that you know that it's safe and who will understand the fact that I need to address this with you, and mature enough and can see their view and your view and come to some place in the middle. It's very difficult trying to do that with somebody who is unwilling to see.
Well, while that statement is true, you also can't give that opportunity for a person to say, oh, well, I didn't know. The reason they didn't know is because you didn't tell them.
So what is your relationship with now with all of your sisters?
Like any sisterhood, sometimes you rhyme slow, sometimes you rhyme quick. It's like, we're like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. But we're a family and we love each other, but we hurt each other's feelings. And I'm going to be honest, right now to this day, are my feelings still hurt about certain things that you all will be able to see as the season unfolds? My feelings are still hurt, and I'm still dealing with the pain of those feelings for me. Doesn't mean I don't love you. It just means I'm not ready.
It's interesting to me too, though, because I think about Tracy quite often, and particularly when she passed away, you would have thought that would in some way bridge the gap with your family, your sisters, and hopefully mended some things because of realizing how fleeting life can be. And in some ways, it feels like it's still status quo. And it feels like in some ways it's gotten better and it's gotten worse. Would you agree?
I won't say that I disagree, but grief comes in different forms for different people. For some people, that might be lashing out. For people like me, it was depression and eating and drinking and, internalizing my feelings until I was able to actually let it out, get it out, and allow myself to grieve in a proper way. And having Spirit, who's absolutely one of the best counselors you can ever talk to in life. I love Spirit. I will always have positive things to say about her. She's amazing. But I'm not trying to skirt around the answer, Jaquetta, but I have to carefully answer. Because sometimes when you say things, it can be taken out of context, can be misconstrued, and it makes a situation worse than it actually is. And my mom's not getting any younger, and I just don't want her to see so much discord between her children. She's already seen enough when Tracy was alive, and now she's lost a child, and now she sees her children bickering, and it's a lot, especially for
It's more
her.
than
So I
bickering.
just
Bickering is a really kind word. I think it feels like more than bickering, but go ahead.
yes, at times. I mean, if we're being truthful, at times.
Yeah.
Um, but we've never been in a place in our family where we were putting hands on each other. I just don't know when, where, why, and how that happened. So you gotta get to the crux of it. Where is this coming from? Where is this hardened heart? Where is this hardened anger coming from? This visceral anger coming from?
When you watch your show back, and I don't
Mhm.
care, pick whatever season, you can
Mhm.
even be this one. Are you disappointed by what you see? Are you happy about what you see?
Now that's a twofold question. The one thing that I am happy about is that we got to spend over a decade of time with our sister Tracy, and we have it recorded, and we can always see back, and we can always look back at her and remember those amazing times we had together. And I know it's one of the grossest things in the whole entire world, but I'll remember my sister peeing on me when we were, when we were in Jamaica. It's just one of those things that just makes us us. You know what I mean? But the most disappointing thing is sometimes
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to being in the limelight, when it comes to fame, and when it comes to family,
Mm-hmm.
I think it exacerbates who you really are as a person. I think if
Mm-hmm.
you're a giving person, if you develop, a certain modicum of popularity, I think it would help you to become more giving. I think it would help you to become, more of an asshole, if that's what you are.
Mm-hmm.
If you are a selfish turd, then you're going to become even more of a selfish turd. If you're
Mm-hmm.
just a mean, bad, horrible, terrible person that talks to anybody any kind of way, if you feel like you got a little bit of power, then you're going to get worse.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's exposing.
Mm-hmm. I think I agree with you. I think it magnifies what's already there. One thing I want to also ask is because I was on the journey for part of this season, and one thing that stuck out is that one of your sisters was not a part of the bridal shower. She wasn't a part of the wedding. She wasn't a part of something that's very pivotal in one of your siblings' lives. How did that feel?
Uh I can say disappointing, but it wasn't for me to be disappointed. It was for the sister that the action happened to ex- to to have that disappoint. I can't be disappointed for you. I can empathize with you. I can sympathize with you, but I cannot uh, begin to understand where her heart and headspace was during that time. I can go by what she tells me,
Mm-hmm.
but sometimes, and especially the sister that it happened to, she's one of those people who um, grieves isn't the right word, but who expresses things in silence until it just finally comes to a head. She's like a pimple. You feel it on the inside, like, oh gosh, this pimple is coming. Like, oh,
Yeah.
this pimple is coming. Oh, it's
Yeah.
okay. It's gonna, finally come. Put some witch hazel on those, and then next thing you know, it just comes to this head, and then
Mm-hmm.
it looks like it's gonna pop.
Mm-hmm.
That's that sister.
Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. While we were in Tulum, one of the things that I found so interesting was that because I want to talk about Angie Stone really quickly here.
Mm.
While we were in Tulum, a friend of mine and I were having lunch, and one of her songs came on over the PA system, and I recorded it and sent it to her and was like, "Hey, we miss you being able to be here, but feel like you're here." And she ended up calling me later on that day. We had a great conversation. We were in the go-kart going to Wanda's event, and I was telling you how I talked to her. And that, we talked about that exchange conversation, only to realize that when we came back to learn that she had passed away. How did her death affect you?
Ooh, she was my friend. And she was my Sagittarius friend on top of it all. Hey, Sagittarius sister.
Sag. I'm a Sag.
Right. Well, you can't help it when you're the best. So, and we really, really bonded, even more so than normal after, I think it was like season 6 or something like that with the Braxtons. When we did our quote unquote walkout or whatever you want to call it, Angie called me. She said, Trina, the network contacted me and they asked me to be on the show with you and with Tracy. She said, how do you feel about it? I said, baby girl, go make your money. And we talked and we laughed. And I was in the grocery store and we were talking about it. And it was after that moment, even though we'd known each other and we'd spoken on the phone, when you have your times when you talk, your spurts when you talk for a while, then your spurts when you don't talk for a while.
Yes.
So we were on that downward kind of area where we weren't talking as often. But when she called me and we were talking about Tracy, it rebloomed. And we talked all the time after that.
Mm-hmm.
All the time.
Mm-hmm. Do you remember your last conversation with her?
I do.
Mm-hmm.
It was rather personal.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, I do recall our last conversation. And that's all.
Yeah, I got you. I feel you, honey. I had my last one as well. So trust me, I totally get it. And it is still hard to me to ingest sometimes that she's not here. But it's like her, Jovita, Simon, Tracy. It's just the list of people who I just kind of have to like, the more I lose, the more I want to live harder because I know that the one thing
Kelvin,
Kelvin, yep. The one thing that is really clear is that we have a limited amount of time too. We do too. So I just kind of want to make sure that I'm living as fully as I possibly can in this time. Is there anything else that you can share about what we plan to see for this season of the Braxtons?
Well, Jaquetta, you have always been really, really great at pulling information out of people. You know how to ask those questions that makes sure that it's open-ended and you have to say something other than yes or no.
Absolutely.
The only thing that I will share is watch it with an open mind about family and relationships and how they can twist, how they can turn, how they can be difficult. And think for yourself, for your loved ones, in whatever situation you're in. Ask yourself, is it worth it for resolve? Or is this a relationship that you need to let go of? And love a person from afar. Now, that is not saying or suggesting that that's what I'm doing. I am just asking everyone just to watch it with just an empty set of preconceived notions. Just don't bring them. Just watch.
Okay, one last question. I'm sorry, because I would be remiss if I didn't ask it.
Oh Lord.
Hopefully it'll be an easy question. Anybody who's had or spent time on social media realizes how your sister Tamar is always in something. There's always something that is spotlighted that she is doing, positive, negative, and here lately it has been a lot of negative chatter. One thing that social media has noticed is the silence that comes from your family as it relates to whatever challenge or fight that she's in. Is that on purpose?
For me, I'm going to say yes, that's on purpose. For me, I can only speak for Trina. I don't think that everything is necessary for public consumption. I think that whatever Tamar or any of my sisters, whatever they choose to show the world, that's It's a personal preference, but I, Trina, choose to keep family business at family business. And it's not for everyone to know or see. But we are in a public eye and we are doing a show. And people want to know. They honestly do. And I think to a certain degree, that's something that we owe them. But what we don't owe them is that inner realm of family that only we have to deal with ourselves. And I know I'm talking in circles, but it's intentional.
Yes, you are. But I know it is. And I think, and here's the thing that I will say. I think even though you were talking in circles and riddles, I believe people who have the vision, who see what your family has been seeing, talking about in various seasons, is now coming to light for the public who have been watching you all for so long. Certain things I think that people thought about some of your family members, your sisters, some of that mindset is shifting based on what they consistently see from a family member and what they don't see from others. And the only reason why I'm saying it in that way is because, as I mentioned when we first started this interview, Trina and some of your other family members are my friends. And I am very respectful of doing the job that I'm doing here and keeping the friendship and the secrets sacred. So, When is the show coming back, Trina? Just to remind us.
October 10th, 8 p.m. Yes. And unfortunately, I hate this forum for us right now, because if I were just talking to Jaquetta, and if I were just talking to Jack, it's a little different. You being in the family for over a decade is I can open up, I can really do Niagara Falls, but I can't, because I know I can't forget where we are.
Yeah, absolutely. And that is why I am asking the questions like I am. With some of them I already know the answer to.
Yes.
So, and I refuse to, I'm a secret keeper. I have done that for all of my whole life, my whole career, and I will continue to do so. And much like you mentioned, I think it'll be interesting for people to be able to watch what happens this season, and hopefully with no preconceived notions, or even the notions that you have, watch it with a clean slate. And then after the season is over, then make your determination about what you feel or think about this family and about these sisters. Trina Braxton, I love you deep.
I love you dearly.
I love you deep, and I'm so excited for you for this new season. And hopefully it cleanses as much as it causes conflict. Okay? Oh, sorry. What? Light question. I promise. Miss AKA, you're an you don't have to, girl. So
I know, but I'm still here though. It's always going to be a Trina-ism, still there.
So not that you're an AKA and you've been one for a while, is it all that you thought it would be?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And more.
Good.
And more. Good. I'm not trying to do an AKA interview or anything like that, but I'm going to tell you, AKA, people like, why are you an AKA? Your sisters was up with Zetas, and your mother wanted to be a doctor, blah, 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 blah. You know what I always say?
What?
Because just like my sisters in AKA, I'm the first of so many things in my family. So it only made sense for me to be a member of the illustrious, of the amazing women of the Kappa Alpha sorority Incorporated.
And I love it. I absolutely love it, Trina. I absolutely love being able to call you a soror and knowing that we share something in common. That's wonderful. All right, baby. I love you deep.
I want to tell everybody, so in between watching the show, on Braxton Family Values on WeTV, make sure you watch me on my cooking channel on YouTube.
That's right.
World. Yeah, Trina Braxton World. It's really amazing. We mess up in the kitchen. We do a great job in the kitchen. Everybody knows I'm in culinary school now. And we know I'm a jack of all trades because I'm also a realtor. So
boom. I love you, baby.
I had to plug myself. Love you.
Yep, absolutely. We'll see y'all next time. Thank you so much.
I love you. Thank you so much.
I love you too, baby. Bye.